You want to know how to lift a 300 and some pound EG4 battery out of a crate by yourself? I'll show you. This is my new EG4 280 amp hour outdoor battery, and I'm going to show you how one person can get it out of this crate without damaging it. All the other videos show two very strong people lifting this 300-pound battery, but I'm going to do it all by myself. Now, the method they show to get this out of the box is a bit scary. It uses two people who have amazing strength, in my opinion. You have to grab this rope, and you have to grab this rope way down here, and in theory, lift it up out of the box. But I got a much better way for one person to do it. So I'll show you a few tips for opening these crates. This is for the EG4 battery. Many things from China come in these style of crates, and I've learned a few things by opening dozens of them. So let's zoom in and see the best way to get this apart and get the battery out and how you deal with these clips. First tip is, especially for older knees, use a gardener's pad that's nice and soft for kneeling, because you're probably going to be on concrete. I use 3 tools to open it: a nice wide bladed flat blade screwdriver, a pair of pliers, and my preferred hammer, which is a 5-pound sledge. You could use something lighter, but it is my favorite persuader. The key in getting these lids and these crates apart is when you get these tabs, you need to get them as straight up and down as possible in the direction that you're going to be taking the lid off. So this was bent over this. You got to get them really vertically straight. So let me show you on this last one over here. These clips are very sharp, so you may want to wear gloves. Typically they'll be bent and a piece of it will be hanging over the edge. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not bent that well, but this one is, which leaves a little bit of a gap for you to get your flat blade under there and turn it up a little bit. All you need to do is just get it up a little bit, and then you want to get your screwdriver between the lid and this flap and push it up as hard as you can. Keep the upward pressure on it and then bend. By doing that, you keep it pretty straight. You want to try and keep it as straight as possible, and then if you have to use your pliers, just grab it and bend it like this. And you may, depending on how well it bent, give it a little tap with your persuader. But you want to have it nice and straight up and down so you can lift this lid right up over it. Once you have all your tabs pretty straight, you can now just grab this, and again, very sharp. I'd recommend wearing gloves, but you just want to pull it up and it should come right off the tabs. Very sharp. And we now have our EG4 battery exposed. Now the trick is getting it out of the box. So inside the box we got our manual, we have the quality control check sheet, which I'll put on a picture so you can see it. We've got our battery cables tucked in here, so we want to get those out of the way so we don't damage them trying to get the battery out. Everything out of this side. We got some more cables up here, battery cables. So 2 red, 2 black, and a communication cable. So we'll get those out of the way. All right, the first thing we got to do is we got to undo all the clips so that we can take the sides completely off the crate. So let's get that going. We'll do a time lapse. Now sometimes if you were not able to get this very flat, you have to bend the rim out a little bit. So you can just put your screwdriver back there and bend it out a little bit, and that'll make it easier for it to come off. As I mentioned before, this is sharp metal in a lot of places. Highly recommend you wear gloves so you don't cut yourself. So now that we've gotten them loosened up, we can start pulling various pieces apart. And as long as I got all those edges loose, it should come apart pretty easy. So now we have our battery undone with our feet at the end where we're going to take it off. And again, it's over 300 pounds. So the first thing we're going to do is clear up our debris. We want a nice, safe working area. Let's get the foam out of the way, our tools, our knee pad, because we won't need that. So let's clear the work area. And by clearing the work area, I would not recommend working in a garage full of crap. But right now we're between about 50 projects, so there's stuff everywhere in our garage. But we're still okay. Next step. So our next problem here is, this edge is very sharp. We're several inches off the ground. If I were just to tilt this up, it's going to fall. It is very heavy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these blocks out of here, and we're going to make a platform that is about equal to the height here that we can tilt the battery up onto. So first, let's get rid of these. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is just get these blocks up out of there. They're just stapled on. Just get under there and pry them up a little. There's one. Take the other one out. Okay. Let's get those out of there because they got sharp nails in them. And now we just need a platform here to be able to tilt it up onto. Normally they would have you lifting with two people lifting this up, and I don't have two people strong enough to lift it. So what we'll do is we'll build a platform here underneath where the feet are. And the first thing we're going to do is get it vertical and off of this platform. And so the way we're going to do that is by coming down here and just doing a one-person lift. But lift it very straight. And now I can just tilt it forward a little bit and move the pallet out of the way with my foot. And I now have my battery vertical. So now you're asking, how do I get it down off those boards? Well, that is a bit of a stretch. It is harder. However, now I can just tilt it a little bit and take one board out and set it back down. It's not going to be level, but it's not going anywhere. So now I can take this board out of the way. And I can repeat. I can also take the rope out of the bottom out of the way. You definitely don't need this rope tripping hazard out of here, so you can just pull this up and it just unhooks off the mounting bracket. This is actually the mounting bracket for the battery. It's installed on here. You got to take the screws off to get it out, but we don't need this lower one. I would recommend leaving the top one on just so that you got a safety handle in case you need it. Now, if you did have a helper who's not strong enough to lift the battery, this is a nice part where you would be able to lift it out of the way and your helper could move those two blocks for you. But it's not necessary. And then you can take that one out of the way. And I'm now on the ground. Well, our battery's up. We can take off the other lifting strap if we want, but we're now ready to start on the the Flexboss 21. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching.